This video is describing the contemporary analysis practices and protocols used at Berklee College of Music. It's very important if you're studying in a situation where you need to use this analysis that you follow these protocols precisely, because otherwise your analysis will be unclear or perhaps unable to be used in a productive way because your teacher or your collaborators will not know what you are trying to say or what you're trying to express about the music. Okay, the first thing is that it uses all capital Roman numerals, no small case Roman numerals. We write the chord symbols above the chord voicings, and then we write the chord symbols above the chord voicings, and we write the Roman numerals above the chord symbols like this. The way we communicate the chord, the information about the chord is we give the Roman numeral tells you the interval that the chord exists above the tonic of the key. So this is the root of this is the tonic of the key. This 2 means it's a major second above the tonic. If it was a minor second above the tonic, we would have a prefix saying flat, meaning a half step less than major or perfect. If it was a augmented second above the root of the key or the tonic, it would be sharp 2. But when it's just 2, that means major second or perfect. If it's a major or perfect interval, those are the default intervals. Okay, so this means this is communicating all of that information. It's communicating this chord is built on the tonic and it's a major 7 chord. That's the second part of the symbol. The first part tells you where it's located. The second part tells you what it is. This structure is located a major second above the tonic, and what is it? It's a minor 7th chord. This structure is located a major 3rd above the tonic, and what is it? It's a minor 7th. This structure is located a perfect 4th above the tonic, and what is it? It's a major 7 chord. Now this is an abbreviation for dominant 7th. Nobody ever writes out dominant 7th anymore. It's just the letter or Roman numeral or letter and the number 7, but that means dominant. So this is located a perfect 5th above the tonic, and it's a dominant 7th chord, etc., etc. And this chord is a minor 7 flat 5, sometimes called a half diminished. But when it's written like this, it should be pronounced minor 7 flat 5. And it is a major 7th above the tonic. In natural minor, now we'll start to see the use of these prefixes. Okay, remember, flat means 1/2 step less than major or perfect. So in a minor key, obviously we have this 2 chord is a major second above the root, but it's a minor 7 flat 5 chord. This chord is a minor 3rd. Flat 3 means minor 3rd above the tonic, and it's a major 7 chord. 4 minor 7, 5 minor 7, this is a major 7 chord, which is a minor 6th above the tonic, and this is a dominant 7th, which is a minor 7th above the tonic. Okay, now we also use these symbols, a couple of very important symbols. We use an arrow when a dominant chord proceeds down a perfect 5th to the expected chord, or even to an unexpected chord quality, just when it proceeds down a 5th. And that's because dominant chords inherently produce expectation in our ear that they will resolve down a perfect 5th. So we want to label it when it does what is expected. If it doesn't do what's expected, and that's not on this chart, but say, for example, we had a situation where C7 did not go to F down a 5th, it went to some other chord, say A minor 7 or something. Well, that would be a deceptive resolution. So in this key, in the key of F, the Roman numeral for this is 5, 7. The way we would express the deceptive resolution is we would put 5, 7 in parentheses. And we would not draw the arrow because the root motion is not down a perfect 5th. So again, the arrow means a dominant chord has completed root motion down a perfect 5th. In a minor key, exactly the same. Dominant chord going down a perfect 5th, you draw the arrow. Okay, this is also true for secondary dominants. If a secondary dominant, any dominant chord with dominant function, if it goes down a perfect 5th, you should draw the arrow. Okay, the next topic is the related 2 chord. What is a related 2 chord? It's when there is a minor 7 or minor 7 flat 5 chord in a perfect 5th relationship with a dominant chord. In other words, it's an emulation of what the 2 and 5 would be in a key. Now this is actually the 2 and this is actually the 5 in F. But in another situation like this, and this is actually the 2 and this is actually the 5 in the key of F minor. But in another situation like this, where we're actually in F, but the secondary dominant is going to the 6th chord, this chord is said to, even though it's the 7 minor 7 flat 5 in the key of F, it's in a 2-5 relationship with the dominant chord. And that's what the bracket indicates. It's not saying that this is the actual 2 chord in the overall key. It's saying this chord is in a 2-5 relationship, an emulation of what the 2 would be and the 5 would be if we were in the key of D minor. Okay, and that's an important harmonic relationship, so it has its own symbol. So how do we determine? Again, it's just a process of elimination. If a dominant chord, in order to have an arrow, there must be a dominant chord on this side of the equation, and on this side of the equation must be a chord down a perfect fifth. Okay, whatever this chord is, dominant chord, I'll just say Dom 7. Okay, this must be there and this must happen. If both of those things happen, you draw the arrow. If either of them is not happening, if it's not down a fifth or if this is not a dominant chord, you would not draw the arrow. Only if both of these things are true. Now for the bracket, the test of whether you should draw a bracket is there's three requirements. On this side must be a minor 7 chord or a minor 7 flat 5 chord. That must be there. On this side must be a dominant 7th chord. And the distance, that's the second requirement. And then the distance between them must be down a perfect fifth. Okay, so if this was C minor 7 and that was G7, you would not draw it because that's not down a perfect fifth. If this was C7 and that was F7, you wouldn't draw it because this is not a minor 7 or minor 7 flat 5. If this was C minor 7 and this was F7, you would draw it because that's a minor 7 chord, that's a dominant 7th chord, and you're going down a perfect fifth to get from C to F. Only when all three conditions are met do you draw the bracket.